Wait. Okay, you wait. I teach you how to analyze.
Yes, please.
Is decreasing. For all x. Okay, all value of x. So look, the moment you see a function decreasing, straight away you imply that the derivative of the function will be less than 0 for all x. That is how you interpret mathematically. So your first step, what should you do? You should get this. That is your first step. So your first step in solving this problem is find f prime x function. Okay, after you get your f prime x function, then only we will see how are we going to solve this problem. So always you want to solve a math problem, you must start from the information given to you. You get me? So now everyone get the f prime x function first. You should be able to get it by using quotient rule. Hurry up. Okay, those who just came in, this is your attendance code. Please mark your attendance. This is a passcode for attendance. It will be stop in 2 minutes time. Those who just came in, you better mark. I'm not going to mark for you now. You have only 1 minute to mark your attendance. Okay. So you're supposed to use quotient rule. So quotient rule, you go in this way. The bottom times by the derivative of the top is 1. Take away the top times by the derivative of the bottom is 2x. The whole thing over the bottom square. So simplify the top. Expand the whole thing. Okay. So simplify. You will give your f prime x as negative x squared. This one and this one. Yeah. Minus 2kx plus k over x squared plus k squared. Okay, now you got that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, you got that? Good. So now this one have to fulfill decreasing. So now our derivative function is made up of 2 parts. That is the numerator and the denominator. So we know that x squared plus k the whole thing square is definitely greater than 0. So in our mind, we will say it is positive. Am I right? So in order for f prime x to be less than 0, for f prime x to be less than 0, so it means that negative x squared, the top, must be less than 0, right? Because a negative divided by a positive will give us negative. Those in red is I teach you how to see. Am I right? So if you have a quadratic expression, what come out in your mind?
B square A.
So
yeah.
What come out in your mind? You have to think of your determinant. Am I right? So this is a quadratic function. So those I wrote it down in red is interpretation. So you have to think that this is a quadratic function. So I let this be my y. So this quadratic function, what is the shape of the graph? Smiling or crying?
Crying.
Crying. Because the A equal to -1, right? So for crying curve, if you want it always to be negative, mean it must be always below the x-axis, correct?
Yes.
So that means that imply our b squared minus 4ac must be less than 0, am I right? Or equal? Because it can touch. Am I right? So these are all interpretation. So when you do this, when you write your working, you will straight away write -2k, that is your b squared minus 4, your a is 1, -1, your c is k, will be less than or equal to 0. So that means your 4k squared plus 4k is less than or equal to 0. So we have this another function here in terms of k. So if we want to solve the inequality, we can draw the sign diagram for this. So I take this as hk. So it's 4k squared minus 4k. So I have a plus 4k. So this is my k value. So I have -1 and 0. Do you know how I get -1 and 0? I let it be equal to 0. Okay, then you can use your scientific calculator. So here will be plus, here will be minus, here will be plus. So what do we want?
Minus.
So we take this region. So all this in red, you don't have to write for the examiner to see if you don't want. So your answer will be k is between -1 and 0. That is your solution. Are you okay?
Yep.
Anyone got any question to ask?
Chair,
Yes.
can the denominator be negative and then
The
the numerator
denominator
positive?
cannot, because the denominator is a square.
Oh, okay.
Definitely is positive already. So that's why I straight away write this one down first, so that my numerator must be negative. Okay, did I explain well for you?
Yeah.
Any part that you don't understand? Okay, huh? Is there any other question in 3B that you need my help?
Wait, can you please tell me again why you do b squared minus 4ac?
This is for a quadratic function.
Yeah.
I want to know whether it got x-intercept, no x-intercept,
Oh.
x-intercept. Still remember the beginning of the course when I said this is a very important concept of a quadratic function that you and me must remember forever.
All I know is if it's less than 0, it doesn't have any
Yes. So that is what I expect from you. You have to. So for me, if I prepare for my SAT 2, I will write this concept down to remind myself. Whenever I need to use it, I straight away know what to use. The moment I see a quadratic function, I have to remember, almost I can say 90% chance you will use b squared minus 4ac. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so can you please? Okay, huh? So anything else? No more. This class is very smart. Okay, can someone explain to me 3B question 2? Question 2. So 3B question 2, if you listen to me while I'm teaching about lawn, you won't make such a mistake. Am I right? You won't make such a mistake. Do you know why?
Do tell.
I tell you already, whenever you see lawn, what must you have in mind?
E?
Positive.
Must be what?
Positive.
Not only positive, must be greater than.
0.
Yeah, you don't just say positive, must be greater than 0. So that is the mistake that he made right from the beginning. He didn't say the domain. He didn't state the domain. Correct? If you state the domain, you know that. So you find your f prime x. this is equal to 0 is impossible. So f prime x equal to 0 is impossible. That imply what? What does that imply?
X is not equal to 0.
No.
Hmm.
What does that imply? If f prime x, that is 1 over x equal to 0 is
No
impossible.
turning point.
Yes, there isn't
Straight
a
line.
there isn't a stationary, there isn't any stationary point. Okay, so when you draw your sign diagram for f prime x, listen here, this is the domain. Onward. So if x is greater than 0, if x is greater than 0, 1 over x will be greater than 0. Am I right? That is your f prime x. So that shows that your f prime x is plus. So therefore, the conclusion is fx equal to ln x is always what?
Positive.
No,
Greater than 0.
no, fx. This is f prime x
Increasing.
is always increasing. Thank you. So that means I know the graph is always go in what way? Okay, when you say always increasing, it can go this way or it can go this way. Am I right? Which way is it? A or B?
B.
Okay, you B. So how am I going to know whether it's A or B? I go to the second derivative. I use the second derivative. So your fx, f prime x is x to the power -1, correct? So f double prime x will be -1 power take away 1. So it will be -1 over x squared. So I will say f double prime x is always negative. Am I right? Always less than 0. So you tell me from here, if I draw the sign diagram for f double prime x, it will be negative, correct? So therefore, the shape of y equal to f prime x graph, and y equal to fx graph is A or B? A or B? Answer, please. The sign of f double prime x show you the shape of fx graph. So can you please tell me A or B? The sign is negative.
Looks
you
A.
think, yeah, it's A. Why? Because this is concave. You don't believe me? You put into your graphic calculator, see whether it's A or B. Hello, young people. Everything that I teach you, you have to go and consolidate and make it your own. Hello?
Yes.
You see, I can, from this simple question, I can move on a lot of things. I can test you. Hello? Are you okay? Any question that you like to ask? Hello, silent is not golden now. If you don't have, then you ask me to proceed on, please.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I want you to now go to question 7 and do part E. Question 7, part E. When you do this, you can do both calculus and also using your graphic calculator to help you. Go by both way, graphic calculator and also calculus. Every time when you talk about ln, you have to take care of the domain first. So we know that x squared plus 4 must be greater than 0. So you see, since here is a square, it's a square. So it doesn't matter whatever value you put in, whether it's positive or negative, it will be positive. So therefore, in this case, there's no restriction for x. So the domain x is a member of real number. Okay. So then you go by calculus. You find f prime x first. Then you draw the sign diagram of f prime x by the help of a GC. Then you will know when it is increasing, when it is decreasing. So to find the derivative for ln, put it down at the bottom, then put the derivative on top. So to draw the sign diagram, you have to know, you have to find when is f prime x equal to 0. So I put 2x over x squared plus 4 equal to 0. So cross over, anything times by 0, you get 0. So 2x equal to 0. So x equal to 0. So I draw the sign diagram for f prime x. I put 0 here. So you can use your GC to help you. Still remember I say how to use your GC to help you to determine the sign. So for x less than 0, by the look at it, this is negative. The bottom is forever positive. So it will be negative. Yeah. And if x is positive, top will be positive. Positive divided by positive will give us positive. So in conclusion, I can make a conclusion that for x less than 0, fx is decreasing.
Yeah, how did you say it was negative then positive for the sign diagram? Oh, you just use the DC to GC.
That's why if you're not willing to memorize the thing, Mr. cannot help you. That's why I keep silent. So after that, I put second quick. Then I put alpha.
That I know.
That one you know. That's why
no.
I say you can use GC to help you.
Oh, I thought it was some
Alpha
other
trace, you
stuff.
call out your Y2, you key in any value. So you will get the answer should be a negative value. So you put negative. Hello? Okay,
Yes.
so I expect everyone to be very familiar with this. You get what I mean? When I say you use your GC to determine the sign, you have to know it. So when x is less than 0, fx is decreasing. Okay, when x is greater than or equal to 0, fx is increasing. But how does it increase or decrease? Do you know?
What do you mean? How does it increase?
Okay, for example, if you say fx is decreasing, so when I say fx is decreasing, it's go like that. Or you can go like that. So which one? We will know.
We should do f double prime x then?
Yeah.
No.
So you can do f double prime x, but here I'm going to discuss how is the shape of the graph look like by not using the second derivative. I'm going to straight away use the GC. So can you please use your GC? Key in Y1. Everyone should have that. Everyone have that in your calculator?
Yep.
Yes.
And your Y2?
Yep. Okay.
Is
Got
this?
it.
So next time, I'm not going to ask you to key in your calculator. You have to straight away do that. Be proactive. Yeah. Okay, good. So now we are going to sketch this graph. So make sure only this is highlighted, okay? Can or not? We don't know how the shape of the graph look like. So what should we do to at the zoom there? Hello?
Standard.
Because the domain is so wide. So what should you do if you want
We
to
start
roughly judge?
with a zoom standard, I guess.
Yes, you have to start with the zoom standard. So that is the normal procedure. Select zoom standard. Okay, if you select zoom standard, if the graph appear, then you know there is a graph around 10, 10, 20, 20 square, right? 10 to the left, 10 to the right, 10 up, 10 down. So how is the graph look like?
Like a
It's
Okay,
all
go.
upper, correct? It's all positive.
Yeah.
yeah, it's all positive values.
It's all
Exactly.
positive value. It look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes up. Yeah.
So that means there are two inflection point there. Am I right?
Yes.
So when you do a zoom standard, the graph, so this is something that I don't want. So what should I do?
Put the
I just show
y minimum equals 0.
Yes, you put the y minimum equal to 0. So you don't want this part. So what you do with your GC? You go to window. So you have to know how to play with it. Go put your y minimum, change it to 0. Then straight away press graph. Okay, so everyone now, you should have a nice curve like that. Yep. So can you find the coordinate of this lower maximum? So the curve will go in this way. Then there is an inflection point somewhere. Then there is another one someplace somewhere here. Right? So can you please find the coordinate of this point? Hello? What is the coordinate of this point? 0,
0,
ln 4. Am I right? Do you get that? 1 point
Some
something.
decimal stuff.
1
Yeah.
point something. Is it 1 point something?
Yeah, 1.38 something.
Yes, 1 point something.
1.3862
Ln 4 is 1
944.
point something. Yeah,
A lot of numbers.
because ln is 2 point something. E is 2 point something. So ln 4 is 1 point something. Yep. Okay. Got it? Okay, now how to find the coordinate x of this point? You have to draw the graph of, you know this fact. The x coordinate of the stationary point of y equal to f prime x is the x coordinate of the inflection point of y equal to fx, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep, this
So-
makes sense.
Yeah, so if you look at the fx graph from here, it moves, the slope becomes steeper, but it's decreasing. So that means the f prime x is negative, but never becomes 0. So it becomes steeper, become more and more negative until at this point, it is the highest. Then after that, it continues to decrease, and until here, the rate is 0. Then after that, it go up. Here is the maximum rate. Then after that, it change again. So this is your f prime x graph. So in the exam, I'm telling you, I will give you the fx graph like that without the function. So you can't key into the calculator. So I expect you to be able to draw the f prime x graph. And I tell you that these 2 points is the inflection point. And this point A is the stationary point. You try to use your GC and sketch, see whether my graph is right or wrong. You have your y1 just now. That is your fx. Plot both graphs together, y2, which is your f prime x, right? So you select these two, then you do a zoom fit. No, you cannot. You do a zoom standard first. No. Zoom fit. You're right. You do a zoom fit. Then they will fit it nicely for you. Can someone show me the graph?
It looks like that.
Yeah. Show. Just take a photo and. Yes. So is it as some sort like what I have given you? It's just that my proportion is not right only. So during the exam, you should know the shape. As long as your shape is correct, turn at the right place, they will give you. Okay, so can you please find the coordinate of these two turning points and tell me the value for the x coordinate of P and the Q. So I want this x1 and x2 value. You know how to get the turning point? You press second trace. Second trace, huh? There's calculation, correct? Then you select minimum. This one you select minimum. And this one you have to do again and you select maximum, okay?
For minimum, it's
-1.
Negative
-2.
2. Yeah.
Yeah, -2. So x1 is -2. x2, I think is 2. It's symmetrical.
Yeah, it's 2.
It's 2. Okay. So you see, any equation in your textbook, all right? If you have the opportunity, you try to sketch the graph. Since you know the stationary point, all right? So you try to sketch the graph and have a look at how the graph is like and how the derivative graphs look like. You even can plot how the second derivative graph will look like. So the more you look at it, the more you see, you will automatically learn how to sketch the graph. So sit in front of the TV while you're watching, then you can just take one of the function and key in and manipulate with it. So study maths can be very relaxed, depend on how you make use of your time. Can or not? Okay.
Possible.
Yeah, possible. It's up to you. Yeah, do you know, until now, I still find a lot of next question and try to solve it in YouTube. That is to trigger my mind to think. I never stop. I never say I've been teaching for 30 years, then I'm very good in maths. No, I'm still doing, I'm still figuring out how to solve the difficult questions. Okay. So I will leave it to you. Exercise 3B. Okay, now exercise 3C. We'll try to discuss as many as we can. Any problem with exercise 3C? I don't believe you don't have problem with exercise 3C. One look at it, I know there's a question, you sure will have a problem. Anyone try question 6 before? Hey, you keep quiet. If you know, you tell me the truth. No.
No, I did not do 6.
No.
If you know, you tell me the truth.
Looking at it, I have no clue.
You have no clue. Okay, now, question 6. Okay, so part A shouldn't be a problem, am I right? For what value of x is fx defined? That means that is asking you to find the domain. Everyone shouldn't have a problem, right? When you see this. Hello? So it shouldn't be a problem. We just did it.
Just find
So
the domain. So I don't know how many 100 times I've been written down this. But I still write. All right? So that is done for part A. Okay, now, whenever you see the question, show whatever is it. When you see this word, okay. When I see these two words, or when I see this word, straight away, what function must I have? What function must I come out with to solve this problem? Can someone tell me?
First derivative.
Yes, you are right. So must have f prime x function. So you don't think so hard. When you see this word, these are the clue. I must have f prime x function. So if I have zero clue about it, so I will come out with this function first. Then after that, what I will do? What I will do?
You key in the calculator.
Don't key in the calculator.
Okay.
Learn calculus first. Let f prime x equal to what?
To 0.
Oh, 0.
To find what?
Find the minimum.
Maximum.
No.
Stationary.
Ah, yeah.
Find the value of x
No.
that make fx max or main. Are you clear? The purpose of this is to find the value of x. That means indirectly it's saying find the x coordinate of the minimum or maximum point. Are you clear? So you have the way to do it already, correct? So now you start. From here, you start first. Then I will tell you the other part. Quick. I have another 7 minutes only. You only have 3 minutes to do your x coordinate of the stationary point. Three minutes, now is 1:53. So 1:56, I will review the answer.
Is it 0.368?
Okay, I want to be in exact value, please.
1/e.
Yes, thank you.
That.
Exact value, because you look at the other one is exact value. Okay.
Yep.
So I review the answer. So first of all, you put your f prime x. So you are using products rule. V u prime plus u v prime. You must train yourself until you read something, you write something. Yeah, so it will be ln x plus 1. So that is the first step. Done. So we are going to the second step here. Okay, so second step will be ln x plus 1 equal to 0. So ln x equal to -1. So x equal to e to the power -1. That's why they get 1 over b. E. So we have to prove that this is a local minimum. Yeah, so we have to draw the sign diagram of f prime x. How many of you all did that? So you have to, this is your responsibility. So since it's minimum, here will be negative, here will be positive. So your fx graph go like that. Am I right? Okay, so we will write down here the local minimum of fx. That means when I want the minimum value, means I'm talking about the value of y is f1 over e. That is when your x equal to 1 over e. Okay, this one I purposely write it like that. So it will be equal to negative 1 over e times -1. Ln e is 1. Okay? So this one, this step you don't have to write if you don't want to. You can just say this is -1 over e. So you see, they say, show that the minimum value. So, but this is not minimum yet. This is global local minimum. So I need to have 2 more steps. Okay, I want to explain to you to show that it is a global minimum. So look, if you go to your graphic calculator, your graph look like that. Am I right? So now, I want to prove it to the examiner or to the reader that when x go in this direction, the graph never come down. So situation 1. And I also want to know that when the graph approaches 0, because my x is more than 0. Okay, situation 2. That the graph never come down. Okay? So I will write 2 situations is a must to do. So I will write situation 1 as x approaches infinity. Okay, can you tell me what happened to ln x? I think it will be very big as well, right? What happened to my fx, which is a very big number, times by another very big number? It will approach infinity. So it never come down. It always go up. From the sign diagram, it increasing, it always go up. Yep. Okay, then situation 2. I will say, as x approaches 0, what happened to ln x? Can you please use your calculator, put ln 0.00001.
Also approaches 0.
No. You try to put ln 0.0001. It will give you a negative number. The closer it is to 0, the more negative it will be. Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right? Hello?
Yeah, it's correct.
So can I say it approaches negative infinity?
Yeah.
Guess so.
So now, yes?
Yes.
Yes. So can you tell me my fx is a 0 times by a negative infinity? It will become what?
Negative infinity.
Wait.
Wait, no, 0.
Yes, it will
Right.
approach 0. So it also never go lower than this. So this is to prove that proven f 1 over e equal to negative 1 over e is the minimum value. So it's not only minimum for y equal to x ln x. Hello? So you have to do this step. So depend on the situation. This part, you have to look at the graph and analyze how to do it. Are you clear? Okay, it's over already. I need to go for another class. Hello? So you can try question 10 and question 11. Okay, thank you, class.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you,
Actually,
Miss.